Good afternoon, dear participants. On behalf of WIRC, then Mumbai University, Indian Accounting Association, Thane Chapter, then MMK College, and Joshi Bedekar College, and HSNC University. I see Yogesh Prasade, HOD and former chairman of Thane branch of WIRC of ICI, extend a warm welcome to all of you for this fifth faculty development program. It's really a unique opportunity, friends. We are going to learn technology over here. We are going to learn ethics in this particular seminar. So it's just going to be a great grand feast for all of us. Let us try to enjoy this particular feast. But before we start with the actual program, let us play our ICI motto song and let us all pay homage to that. ICI motto song, please. Thank you very much.
येष सुप्तेषु जागृति येष सुप्तेषु जागृति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैता 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 एतद्द्वैता.
Thank you very much. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has always been in forefront in conducting different faculty development programs for the teachers in general. And there are a galaxy of good speakers who have always made us proud by delivering their lectures on this particular platform. Before we start with the actual proceedings, may I invite my very dear friend, Dr. C.A. Kishore Peshori, the principal of MMK College, to give his introductory remarks. Peshori, sir.
Sir, you are on mute. Thank you, Yogesh sir. Chairperson, C.A. Manish Gadia. Vice Chairperson, C.A. Drushti Desai. The learned speakers, Milind, Kamat, and C.A. Sandeep Dasda, as well as my dear friend Luhar sir, who is the BOS Chairperson, and Indian Accountancy Association Chairperson. Friends, since Manish Gadia sir has taken up the chairmanship, I think this is the fifth program under his leadership which has taken up. And I hope the new chairman, Shri Murtaza Konchawala, will take up the same steps what Manish ji has taken for the teaching profession at large. Because when many of the colleges are going autonomous, let me tell you, it's our privilege that WIRC is in its forefront in academic activities, especially on faculty development, where we require topics to be introduced for autonomous colleges. And Manish has been quite a help in seeing that various new topics have been introduced. For example, today's two topics, the blockchain and ethics, both have to be introduced either in the undergraduate or in the postgraduate syllabus in the ensuing years. Because of the new education policy coming up, I think the collaboration of WIRC in education front is notable. The second step which he has taken is seen that many colleges have got accountancy museum, and I request once again that if any of the college is interested to have accountancy museum, here is our best chairman for academia who is ready to give it all its energy and time for having accountancy museum in your college. Of course, I was the first one who got it done, and you are welcome to see the museum at MMK College. And I wish that every college who is teaching accountancy has that museum, because it's one of the hallmarks of any education institution. Coming to today's topic, blockchain. a term that was not commonly used a few years ago. And today also there is a confusion whether cryptocurrency and blockchain is one and the same. I think the learned faculty would make it clear, because in education sector, I know Manish sir has introduced to me very dear friends who have made very great remarks in blockchain. And I hope by next year, since you have gone for blended education, similarly, we will also go for digitalization of student records and issue of degrees and diplomas, which will help our administrative work to a great extent. About ethics in education, I think it's the need of the hour, because being in COVID fourth cycle or third cycle, as you say, many of the faculties are not attending the colleges. They are attending online, and students also attend online. It's necessary that when we are doing online education, we maintain ethics at its esteemed best. And I hope every teacher, besides being a lecturer, is a teacher, and teacher adopts more role than a lecturer. He covers the social, the mental, and the psychological well-being of not only the student, but of his entire family. And in COVID times, when we are in the huge wave of many persons who are going in fever and cold and cough, you have to ensure that these students are healthy, because the exams are fast approaching. So ethics in education, I think it's a needed topic of the day, and I hope the learned faculty will make a great remark on the same. So on behalf of WIRC and my college, NHSNC, and of course, Joshi Belger College, I extend a warm welcome and thank once again for inviting me to this 5th FDP. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think the voice was audible.
As Kishore sir has rightly said, the ethics are applicable in all walks of life. We as chartered accountants follow certain ethics. In the field of education also, there are a lot of ethics which are to be followed in order to ensure that the students get the best. And there should be certain guidelines, there should be certain standards which should be followed in this particular regards. As far as blockchain technology, yes, it is going to be the need of the hour. I think our learned speaker is going to throw light on that. Before we go ahead, I would request one of our participants or one of our associate Indian Accounting Association, which is of great help to all the teachers as well as students. They are partnering in this particular workshop. I would request the chairman of Indian Accounting Association, Dr. Arvind Luhar, to throw light on his views about this.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving me a very nice invitation to express my views over your 5th FDP jointly by the ICI, Indian Accounting Association, MMK College, Joshi Bedekar College, HNC University. I welcome all the dignitaries on behalf of the Indian Accounting Association Thane chapter. The topic selected for this particular FDP is the need of the hour. The first speaker will speak on the role of the blockchain in education. It is really the need of the hour in the 21st century, because if we see that the enrollment ratio of the students in the higher education has increased drastically in India. If we look back 10-15 years back, our educational enrollment ratio in the higher education was around 5%, and now we are reaching at 27%. In coming 5 to 7 years, it will cross 50%, because it is the main motto of the education policy. So, and the number of universities, number of colleges, number of students, number of teachers, central universities, Center of Excellence Institute, IIT, IIM, deemed university, private universities, state universities, it is increasing like anything to meet the target of the 50% gross enrollment ratio in the higher education in India. then the lot of paperwork will be created. And when there is a lot of paperwork, it increases a lot of cost over the universities. And ultimately that cost is borne by the student or by the public. If it is a public university, so it is a burden on the public because we are paying the tax. Now this the use of the blockchain management in the educational sector, I believe that it will be a revolution in the education system. Degrees, diplomas, its verification will be at one click, and whenever and there is no chance of the bogus degree and any chance of alteration in the degree, and the cost will be very less. When the student will be transferred from one institute to another institute, there will be no challenges of the transfer certificate, migration certificate, eligibility. It will be at one click from one university to another university. It will save the time of the employer, it will save the time of the institution, it will save the time of the student. And in the research also, it will play, we can say that a dramatic role. See, whenever one will be going for the PhD thesis, MPhil dissertation, writing articles, presenting papers, so this database will also help the institution whenever the promotion of the teachers is there in their career advancement schemes. And when the research is linked with the blockchain management, I believe that the ethics in education and particularly in research will achieve the milestone in the Indian educational research sector. So these both the topic, I believe that as a chairman, Indian Accounting Association Thane chapter, these two topics are the need of the hour. And I also put on note to the Institute of the Chartered Accountant of India that you please come out with the module, some guidelines that how in India this blockchain management could be worked out at a lower cost. Because whenever the new technology comes, so educational sector, they also see the cost. Okay, so it should be the cost effective to the institution, because ultimately if it is very costly, the burden will fall on the institute and the educational authorities will not go for it. So we have to see the win-win situation. So I thank you, the ICI, MMK College, and all the dignitaries for picking up a very, very important topic for the teachers of my industry. Thank you, one and all.
Arvind sir, thank you very much. You have put it, you have hit the nail in the coffin. You're absolutely correct. The blockchain technology and ethics are going to play a role, a very pivotal role in the education sector. As you have rightly said, the various areas which are going to be benefited due to this particular techniques. Now let me come to the very basic thing. I think we deserve a great, we have got a great team of WRC this year, means headed by our own CA Manish Gadia ji, who has led from the front in all walks of the areas of practice or areas of education, or in case of installing the accountancy museum. I think the team has played a very, very, very pivotal role, and really we are looking forward for such interaction with the WRC team, which is going to come forward in the next near future also. The most integral part of this team, our own Vice Chairman, Shri Drushti Desai, who herself is a visionary in her areas of practice, in her areas of education, in her thoughts. Let us ask our own Drushti Desai Madam to express her views on this particular aspects. Drushti Desai Madam.
Madam, unmute karo.
Yes. Thank you very much, Yogesh, for your very encouraging words. And first of all, I must congratulate Manish ji for this wonderful initiative that we have at WRC, where we are going hand in hand with the the accountancy professionals in the teaching line, and we are contributing in some way for sharing of knowledge. I would not say that this is for training them. Teachers will train us, but it is basically a sharing the knowledge that we have with us. That is something that we are sharing with all these very, very learned teachers who join all these programs that we are jointly doing with all the colleges and the accountancy professionals. Now, coming to this particular topic, I think a lot has been spoken and a lot is going to be spoken by the faculties for the day. Just that from the angle of a chartered accountant, from the angle of a practicing chartered accountant, I think this blockchain technology is going to be absolutely, a path-breaking thing, because today when we have frauds and we are looking for adequate audit evidence, I think once blockchain comes to India and it is in place everywhere, then this will be a great thing for us. Let's see how many years it takes and when does this come in. Maybe as professors and as teachers, you will be intrigued by, or you'll be questioned by your students as to what is the future that they have in this blockchain technology development. And that's where I think today's faculties will be able to talk to us about that. Now, coming to some of the things that we are doing at WIRC, because I think, let me take this opportunity to tell you about some of the things which may be useful for you and what we have done at WIRC. So whatever programs that have happened at WIRC which are very technical topics, they are all on the YouTube channel of WIRC. They are recorded seminars, they are training sessions, and there are lovely series. So I think if you are into teaching auditing, accounting, you will have the auditing series, you'll have the standard series, you'll have, if you're teaching tax, and we have the series on, means we'll have programs on tax. There will be so many updates you will get on that. So I think it will be a great thing. You can just click on the WIRC YouTube channel and you can look at the programs of your choice and look at it, and then maybe that can help you in imparting some more information to the students you teach. So this is another thing that we can work around together. Another thing is that we have also started this portal called Khoj. Now, this is the portal where we have right now women chartered accountants who have registered themselves, who are looking for employment. So in case if you are looking to recruiting somebody for teaching or something, maybe that you'll find many women chartered accountants would be interested even in teaching. So this portal can be even used by members who are teachers and who have joined the program today. So that's the third thing. One more thing is that to encourage. So this is one thing I've been always saying, that when it comes to teaching profession, we find that there are many women who are teaching. So I'm sure a lot of participants, at least 50% of the participants would be women professors, but somewhere at WIRC level, at CA level, we had found that there is a dwindling number of women chartered accountants who are faculties. And so we started this series, which is WOW series, which is Women on Wednesday, and where a woman member, a woman chartered accountant comes and talks on a technical topic. It is absolutely a normal technical topic, and we have had excellent response. One Wednesday of a month is what we have this session on. And if any professor also who's a member of the institute would like to contribute to our series, please feel free to reach us, and we will be very happy to host a session where you can impart the technical knowledge that you have. So with this, I think that's some of the updates I thought I will give you, and I'm really looking forward to listening to the faculties of the day. I'm sure you all also are very, very eager to listen to them. So with this, I would hand it over back to Yogesh ji for taking the proceedings forward. Thank you.
Drushti madam, it was really a wow. It was really a wow, the remarks from you, and I should really compliment this entire efforts which this team has taken. The Khoj series or the WOW series, I think definitely it is going to be of much importance to all the members of our fraternity. And as you rightly said, that as a teachers also, if we need any of the assistance from the various lecture series which were conducted by the institute, I think we will definitely grab it with both the hands. It was really a great initiative on the part of the institute to have this type of series started. Coming to the most loved person, the most dynamic person, the most I can say the successful person of this particular team, CM Manish Gadia. I think he was working day and night to ensure that the members, the students, the teaching fraternity get a lot of things. I personally interacted with him on many occasions. There were many programs which were conducted under his initiative. The TEL program, Train, Earn and Learn, the greatest program which was conducted, which has benefited all the colleges, undergraduate students from Maharashtra, Goa and Gujarat. So we are all really thankful. The students are really very much appreciating the efforts which are taken by the institute. And I just put it forward in this manner. It's a DSR activity or it's a CSR activity which our institute has conducted by imparting this invaluable knowledge to the public at large. May I call upon our own CM Manish Gadia ji to express his views on this occasion.
Thank you, Yogesh sir. So, respected Milind Kamat sir, faculty of the day, Kishore Peshori ji, principal of MMK College, Drushti madam, vice chairperson, Yogesh Prasade ji, Sandeep Desai, Luhar sir. And I will start with saying that Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma. So I first namo all the teachers who have joined here, because we all are here because of your dedication and your education to us. So I just give you brief about the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. It is set up under the Act of Parliament, and we are functioning through 5 different regions. Western region is one of them, and we are having 164 branches, 350,000 members and 750,000 students. So the role of the Institute of Chartered Accountant is to regulate the accounting and auditing profession in India, as well as providing education in the field of accounting and auditing. So this is the broader role of ICAI. And as Peshori sir has said that Institute has come out with the accounting museum. So you know that the museum gives the history of anything. And you may be surprised that the accounting started before the birth of humankind. So our first accountant of this universe is Chitragupta. From him, the accounting actually started. And the modern accounting started in the 15th century. That's what we are learning now, debit and credit. So all these things has been given in the accounting museum, what has been come out by the ICI, and it is a good thing for all the colleges to install at their college premises, so the student can go through it and they will learn more and more thing about accounting, their history and how it has evolved. Another thing is that we are thankful to UGC that this year UGC has permitted accounting CA course equivalent to a master's degree, so that any chartered accountant can directly pursue PhD now instead of going for MCOM or any other master degree. And I request all the teachers who are here to support Institute for a career counseling guidance also. We organize various programs on career counseling where your CA, your student can take the benefit and join the CA profession, which is one of the novel profession. And I have seen that since last 25 years I'm into practice, and I have seen that there is no unemployment as far as this profession is concerned, and the fees is only 75,000 for the 5 years course, and which will also the student will get once he is doing a articleship. So I'm not going into that detail. And I also thank various professors who have helped us in conducting our exams. We have conducted successfully 3 exams in this pandemic period of 2 years. And one more thing I just want to share about, tell that what Prasad sir has also told about, that is the train, earn and learn. This is a unique feature, unique program what we have started, where we are giving a training to undergraduate student of any stream, and we are teaching them how to do entry in a tally, how to use Excel, filing of GST return, income tax return, TDS return, so various things. After that, we are placing them with the CA firm as an intern for 1 year. And the fees for entire syllabus, entire course is just rupees 350. That's all. And that course is also eligible for your NAC accreditation, 2 credit point the college will get for conducting this kind of course. So I request any of the faculty who is attending and the college is interested in any of the initiative of WIRC of our ICI, we are ready to help you out for any of the initiative. And as far as the technology is concerned, which is the need of the hour and you can say the future, and technology can be used in any field. When blockchain was supposed to be understood as synonymous to cryptocurrency, but now whenever we are going into more deeper, we come to know that the cryptocurrency, whatever we are saying, is just a fraction of the thing of the blockchain technology. This technology can do wonders. That what Milind Kamat sir is going to teach us, and he's only going to restrict himself about the blockchain technology for education sector, how it will help. And another is ethics in education that Shefali Pandya madam is going to take, which is also a very unique thing. So thank you very much to all of you for joining this 5th faculty development program in huge numbers. So thank you. Over to you, Prasad sir.
Thank you, Manish sir, for your words of wisdom. I think they are always invaluable for all of us. And I think your words speaks more and they encourage many of the teachers to act in a very prudent manner. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Now, before we go for the formal introduction, I think we have got a very learned faculty in Mr. Milind Kamat ji, who is the head of Global Management Program, Faculty of Information Management from the very prestigious SPJIMR Institute of Management. So we are really blessed. And after hearing a lot of brainstorming on blockchain technology, we are very eager to hear from you about the blockchain concepts in education. Before that, I would request Sandeep Desai ji to give a formal introduction of Milind Kamat ji, and then we can start. Sandeep ji.
Thank you, Prasad ji. Before giving the formal introduction, I'm really thankful to our WIRC board chairman, CM Manish Gadia sir, who gave me an opportunity to participate in this panelist. Thank you, Manish sir. Today's keynote speaker, Shri Milind Kamat sir. Milind sir has 4 decades of years of experience in the information technology service sector. Milind sir engaged in setting up new digital business in cloud, mobile, big data, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and lot. He successfully deployed IoT, cloud, big data analytics, and ML solutions to drive real-time management and monitoring of more than 15,000 fuel stations in India. This is one of the most significant digital transformation initiatives in India. Milind sir has rich experience in driving operational excellence, lean management, mergers and acquisitions, integrations, and change management. He successfully set up innovation centers and incubated new offerings in a digital business. He served for more than 23 years with Atos Group, a French giant in IT service. During this period, he successfully performed various leadership roles in sales, marketing, service lines, business units, HR, business, and technology innovation. Last 6 years of his tenure at Atos Group, he served as Executive Vice President of Atos Group and CEO of Atos India. He was a member of the Group Executive Committee in Paris, France. In the first decade, he worked in India and was part of many turnkey IT solutions delivered in the financial service sector. He was also in charge of a business in the Middle East and Africa. Next decade, Milind worked mainly in the USA and UK and worked with consumer product firms, oil field services, and tech startups in Silicon Valley. Last 15 years, he would mainly in Netherlands, UK, France, Germany, and USA. I can say a very versatile faculty is here on this very vibrant topic, blockchain. Dear members, today's second faculty, the ethics for the ethics in education. I'm very happy to have such kind of topic because I'm also one of the teacher, and ethics applicable for the student as well as for the teachers. And for this vibrant topic, again we have a speaker, Dr. Shefali Pandya ma'am, who is a retired senior professor and former head of Department of Education, University of Mumbai. She is a BSc Statistics, MAd in PhD in Education and PhD in Management also, and postgraduate in Diploma in Educational Management. She has a 31 years of experience in teaching at PG level, 10 years of experience, administrative experience as professor of head department of education, University of Mumbai. Madam has undertaken various independent research projects such as schooling and life skill education in Mumbai, issues and alternatives. Then a study of college student preferences for learning environment and teacher behavior in relation to their learning styles in the context of prevalent teacher orientation and teaching skills. Madam has a lot of international exposure. Ma'am has visited UK, USA, France, Australia, Japan, South Africa, Singapore, Thailand, and Nepal, and presented 12 papers, participated in one panel discussion, and delivered one invited lecture. At her academics, ma'am guided 43 PhD students successfully, guided 15 MPhils successfully. Ma'am has presented 144 papers, 16 books also published, delivered 14 keynote and validity sessions, and more than 62 papers and resource papers submitted. In her, ma'am is also Senate of University of Mumbai, elected member of PG Teachers Constituency, Academic Council, University of Mumbai. Ma'am is also member of Board of Studies in Education in University of Mumbai, member of Board of University Teaching and Research, again Research and Recognition Committee in Educational Philosophy, University of Pune. Ma'am is a member of Reviewer World Journal Education at Canada, Reviewer of Journal of Social Science Studies USA, Reviewer Vera USA, Reviewer of African Educational Research Journal from Africa, member of Editorial Board, Malan International Journal of Education, Turkestan. Ma'am is a member of Technical Program Committee at South Korea. Truly speaking, the total biodata is more than 6 pages. I'm just curtailing the biodata to avoid the time. Such a learned speaker is for this session. I welcome both the speaker. And now I request Milind Kamat sir, you please take the charge. Over to you, Milind sir.
So muted.
Yes. So good afternoon. First, quick check. Somebody can tell me you are able to hear me and see me properly so that I can show my slide.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Slide is also visible.
Yes. First of all, thank you, Manish sir, Drushti ma'am, Kishore, Peshori sir, Sandeep sir, Yogesh sir, and Shefali ma'am. Thank you for inviting me and giving me an opportunity. So most of the eminent panelists have spoken about blockchain. So just a quick introduction. Who am I? I think my biodata was mentioned. But presently what I do, I am at the professor of SPJIMR Institute of Management and Research, and I run their global management program, which runs between Europe and USA. What I will do today in terms of the agenda for this FDP, because blockchain is a bit technical topic, but bit simplified topic. So I will just spend some introduction and trends on the blockchain, spend some 20 minutes what blockchain is all about, and then 10 minutes on what is happening in education sector and recent government initiative in education sector in blockchain. So this is my agenda for the day. One particular limitation, I am doing it go to webinar this particular platform for the first time. So the questions I will take at the end. Manish sir, I hope that is okay, because I cannot see anything else on the screen right now. Okay.
In fact, all the
So,
questions will be put up to you after the
okay.
program is over, so you'll be able to address.
Yes. So what subjects I teach at SPJIMR in MBA programs is mainly related to new digital technologies, blockchain, automation technologies, artificial intelligence, big data strategies. I am also pursuing my doctoral program from University of Bradford, UK in artificial intelligence. So that is my quick identity, what I'm doing presently. So without spending any more time, blockchain has hit many headlines these days, and as I mentioned, there were three topics also mentioned. uh, Blockchain was very synonymous with cryptocurrency, and I mean many people talk about Bitcoin because that is the most popular cryptocurrency all over the world. And for many years, me included, we thought that cryptocurrency is blockchain. And over a period of time, many people discovered that cryptocurrency, or more broader form digital currency, is one application of blockchain. So that is a big difference, big revolution which has come, that blockchain is an underlying technology and one application on that is a cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin is one cryptocurrency. So you can see the difference. There are many cryptocurrencies, most popular, most successful being the Bitcoin. Then there is a very big speculation, affiliation to something known as non-fungible token, because currency you can denominate. I can go and 100 rupee note I can exchange with 10 rupees notes, so there are denominations possible. But as the digital revolution is moving further, there is another thing called digital tokens, especially related to videos, artwork, which has a lot of piracy related issues. So digital certification with digital token has taken a big time, and you will find on internet many discussions around the non-fungible token. Non-fungible means you cannot subdivide in that. And the biggest advantage of blockchain, which is the underlying theme under cryptocurrency, is immutable record keeping. As you will find, there are many discussions, there are frauds takes place, accounting records gets fudged, understated, because some transaction in one ledger, other transaction in another ledger. So this technology has also immutable record keeping. That is the third thing. Like there was an issue with the giant retailer called Walmart, where supply chain, because one of the meat products which they supplied was poisonous, they didn't know from where it has come, so decided to implement blockchain for a traceability of all their food products all over the world, from which batch it has come. The Andhra Pradesh government has taken a big initiative in implementing blockchain for land records. Now, if you come to Maharashtra, because we are obviously today I am talking from Mumbai, universal passport COVID vaccination, which is issued by government of Maharashtra, that is also on the blockchain, so that people cannot get a duplicate or fake passes. So you will find there are many applications of blockchain. And as my co-panelist mentioned in the beginning, that cryptocurrency is one of them, and Bitcoin is one application of blockchain, not necessarily the blockchain. So you will find in the press there are many speculation as well. Even though Bitcoin is the largest currency, there is a lot of speculation whether what will Indian government do with respect to digital currency. In fact, not only Indian government and Narendra Modi government, all over the governments, every country is contemplating whether they should have a digital currency. Remember, is a private, publicly owned, no government blockchain and affiliation as far as Bitcoin is concerned. But as if government decides to use a digital currency, even back of digital currency, why government is
Sir, you're not audible, I think. Okay, sir. No, perfect. Okay, sir, perfect.
Yeah. So you are all from accounting profession. So I use the word distributed ledger. That means majority of the places you will find centralized ledger. Blockchain allows a distributed ledger. That means a ledger copy is available at many locations with many people, and that too not controlled by any individual thing. That is the beauty of this technology. And as I said, it is a simplified view. There are many other caveats on that, but this is an introductory session, so I have mentioned it is a distributed ledger managed democratically, so no individual can monopolize, can tamper, can create a fraudulent entries inside that. So what is the difference between the blockchain and the current system? You will find even in case of banking systems, everybody has to central clearing house, and that is how the present system of payments operates. When the blockchain comes, it is peer-to-peer network. No intermediary will be there, and that will be a big change, big impact which blockchain will have. So in summary, it is a multiple computer systems across the world hold a copy of the ledger. That is a first takeaway what this particular blockchain does. It is fully automated. So you don't have to guide anybody saying that how the record should be written, how the ledger should be managed. This is fully automated systems which are there. Hacking is almost impossible because the amount of computing power required to create this kind of system is huge. So no one individual can own the records or hack the records. So that is the key takeaway for what this blockchain system based ledger is. And you will find there are 4 important applications for blockchain. And of course, this handout also I will give it to CA Institute so all of you can have. One is the securities which you have mentioned, debt, equity, private market, crowdfunding, derivatives. Other is record keeping, which is the maximum one, and I will come within a moment regarding what is the record keeping with respect to educational institutes. And then of course it's a digital currency for which blockchain became popular. So fundamental question is, what is blockchain? So I have drawn a simple diagram here. You will find, just a minute, I will adjust this window. Yeah. It is a ledger created with the blocks of transactions. You will see the diagram, it's a block of transactions. So list of transactions, and there is some technical thing. I don't think you should be bothered about how these technical things are created. But the key part is the blocks identification is generated by what the transaction information it has, and it's a previous block's address. You will find here previous block's address. So the chain gets created. This is my first block. Then my next block will carry the information summary of the previous block and the transaction of the present block. This is how you can see the chain diagrams mentioned here. That's why it is called chain, and block is a block of transaction. So if somebody has to break this chain, it requires humongous computing power, and still it may not be possible, because this entire block gets created with a process called mining, which requires huge computing power. But it is a bit technical, so I will not go in this introductory session. But the key point which you remember is this ledger is consisting of blocks. All the transactions are in the groups of blocks written. They cannot be changed by any individual or institution, and the chain gets created, and it is impossible to break the chain. So what advantages does it give? Number one, trust, because no individual is owner of this. It is decentralized. It reduces phenomenal the cost which are involved of intermediary transaction fees. I mean that it reduces huge cost. Speed is like internet, WhatsApp these days. Those of you are from the old era. Telegram, I mean, used to take days, months. Now WhatsApp messages goes in a flash. Like that, the transactions also will go in a flash if it is regulations are able to do it. And there are many other like tokenization, innovations are possible. And as I said, most important part, you cannot change. But if there are so many advantages, why it has not so become mainstream? It has also some limitations today of that technology. I'm quite sure in coming 2-3 years, majority of those limitations, because there is a research going on that. One is related to large computing power, so scalability is a bit of an issue, but is also an issue related to type of application you have. For digital currency, scalability is a bit lower, but if you are having only a land record types of that, scalability is possible. And I will also run some video which you will know what exactly is involved in that. So the key point which I am mentioning, that there are some technical limitation of this technology, and that's why it is a bit expensive today. But as the time progresses, there is a research on, there are a lot of companies all over the world working. I assume within next 2-3 years, it will have addressed those limitations by which it becomes affordable. I will run one video to show you what I have done as a summary, and let me know whether you are able to hear and see the video.
Is it a revolution or just hype? Perhaps something in between? One thing is clear, blockchain is one of today's big taking points. Experts see a technology that will influence our life, a new phase of the internet. But what is the belief based on? Blockchain is momentarily the best known distributed ledger technology, DLT for short. This is primarily due to the hype surrounding the Bitcoin cryptocurrency, which is based on blockchain technology. DLTs describe digital databases in which every member can supplement the data stored there, not centrally in a cloud, but locally on each computer on the network, functioning as a decentral peer-to-peer network. One of the features, the decentral consensus mechanisms that are implemented through algorithms on the participating computers. This so-called mining verifies the data in the decentral network, makes DLTs transparent, safe, and decentral, and by that, the backbone for future transactions and verification processes. In the case of blockchain, a new digital block with a distinctive signature containing the hash value of the preceding block is written for every new set of information. The members check the new information using a consensus protocol before it is incorporated as a block within the chain and becomes immutable from then on. Proof of work, which is the best known consensus mechanism, uses computing capacity of the members to validate the transactions. This form of mining is very resource intensive due to the laborious computing caused by complex calculations. However, this effort is part of the secure consensus protocol's design and protects the network from being manipulated as it renders attacks uneconomic. At the same time, there are more flexible ways to secure the consensus, such as proof of stake, for use cases where the safety requirements are not as high. In proof of stake, users with more tokens have more power in the consensus finding process. This happens with the assumption that the user has no interest in damaging his token value and his influence by harming the system. If one has significantly higher speed requirements, then one can use DLT for framework contracts and perform the exchange of information by a so-called second layer mechanism. On this second layer, transactions are processed at higher rates. An alternative approach for use cases with higher transaction rate requirements could be making use of the DLT variant, Directed Acyclic Graph, DAG. In contrast to blockchain, consensus finding in DAGs is achieved if the user validates for each new transaction at least 2 previously not validated transactions. With every user participating in the network, the transaction rate is increased, at least in theory. However, this advantage of scalability is at a research stage and not yet completely proven in practice. Distributed ledger technologies are highly relevant in the future because they enable an economy of things. Safe transactions between humans and machines, immutable, indisputable information. And as a consequence, the capability for smart contracts embedded in a program code to be able to guarantee decentral, automated contractual transactions. Intermediaries will become redundant. Businesses will be decentralized and ultimately be performed between machine and machine. Cars charge themselves, negotiate the prices at the charging station, and settle the bill. In an economy of things, distributed ledger technologies create and ensure the basis for trust, fairness, and participation in the decision-making process. As a result, DLTs enable intersectoral value-creating. Is it a revolution, or just is it?
So just a quick summary based on the video. Blockchain is a record of transactions in a block, the group of transactions. It is time-stamped and you cannot change it or alter it. Record of data is managed in cluster of computers and they can be anywhere and owned by many other entities, so one cannot monopolize that. The consensus mechanism, which is one of also a limitations because of so much of security, it is by 51% majority. This is a bit technical, but keep it in mind that it is a consensus required for writing the block, and it involves huge cryptography for encryption. So this is what the blockchain is, and this has a very big and profound impact in the education sector. So if you take an education sector today, these are the stakeholders. I have done one graphics which I use as a part of my courses as well. You can see collaborators, you have courses, online resources, grading, teachers, and of course you have a learning passport which we create on the report card. And based on that, the blockchain, there are accreditators, validators who can visualize and do. Now the issue today that many of the fake degrees can come. It is very difficult for the employers to validate whether these degrees are right, wrong. In case you are going for a foreign university, then getting those transcripts, I mean, huge paperwork, cost and mistakes, and of course, genuinely frauds are involved in this. So there are many applications blockchain are presently getting used, and especially in the online education, it is very, very advanced today. One is digital certificate, transcript, and student records. I mean, it was already discussed, and you can see, and I will also run a video right now. So to emphasize that point, replace paper, so associated with paper, labor required by educational institute, by student, and of course, associated cost. Credentials will become online. Now, some institutions are starting to accept cryptocurrencies, especially in the private segment. They are accepting the cryptocurrencies as well. Then some are motivating the students because many of the courses have credits, and if you do better credits, there are blockchain tokens. They are getting tokens, motivate to do better, and those tokens subsequently can be interchanged on the wallets. This is mainly in Europe and USA. It has not come in India yet. There is a connection between student and employer because verifiability becomes much easier. And of course, there is another one because you can create a content, can become your intellectual property, and that also like an artwork, you can preserve and you can monetize as well. So these are many dimensions what happens in the education institute as far as blockchain is concerned. And Infosys has designed a blockchain recently in the education sector. I will run a video so that you understand how the blockchain is running in the education sector as well.
As the government introduces innovative ways to provide education for all, new universities and educational institutions are coming up every day. However, in parallel, diploma mills or unaccredited institutions are also cropping up. Students and their potential employers are the ones who are the most affected by these fake degrees. While the government has taken strict action against such unaccredited institutions, there is a need for a preventive mechanism. Introducing Infosys Blockchain. Meet Priya, who is seeking admission in an alternate medicine stream from a trustworthy college in India. She logs onto a CCIM, Central Council of Indian Medicine sponsored blockchain network using an easy-to-use mobile app and gets trusted information about all accredited institutions offering medical courses and their course and fee structure and syllabi. Priya gradually secures an admission in Munial Institute of Ayurveda Medical Sciences, Manipal. This college is affiliated to the CCIM and the admission letter is updated on the blockchain network by the college itself. During the course of her degree, all her digital mark sheets and certificates are updated by her college on the network. All such documents are notarized by stakeholders on the network itself. These documents will ensure integrity of information as they are immutable, time-stamped, and digitally signed by the issuing authorities. Upon completion of the course, Munial College also updates Priya's BAMS degree certificate digitally on the network. Priya goes on to apply for a job at Sanjeevani Hospitals for Ayurvedic medicine in Ahmedabad, where she shares her educational certificates. Sanjeevani Hospitals can now easily validate the accreditation of Munial College and Priya's qualifications as well through the blockchain network. The blockchain network removes all middlemen and makes employee background verification quick and efficient.
So that is what Infosys has done, and it is implemented at quite a few schools as well. As far as education concerned, especially on that blockchain is there. Now I have also compiled 3 initiatives which are recently been announced in the education sector. You can see this is a very recent one which was there in December when our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has gone to IIT Kanpur, and there he inaugurated this during the convocation for giving the digital certificates. So this is already not at the future state, it is already available. Maybe colleges which you represent or CA Institute also can take this initiative. This is started and inaugurated by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. You can see here in the picture, IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar has launched this particular thing in December. Immediately in follow-up of that, a policy, how the national strategy on the blockchain, and especially in many sectors, and education being the prime sector for the reasons I just mentioned before. And that policy has many things. I'm quite sure some of you have seen this announcement, how government is putting the blockchains for the education sector. And this is the last one is Maharashtra government has started almost all the colleges. They are having a shared service with this company called Logidoc, which is issuing the blockchain based certificates using. So I'm quite sure in coming 2 years or 3 years, they will say all affiliated universities and all to start using this service, so that the degrees, diplomas issued, they are going via this particular service. Of course, there are many other initiatives. I compiled very 3 recent initiatives which were announced. I think that is what I wanted to cover, Yogesh sir. And if there are questions, I will do a question and answer. But this was a brief summary of the blockchain and where we are in India and in the education sector.
Sir, a very excellent presentation. Means hats off to the lucidity with which you explained all the concepts. If there are questions, I think no questions are seen up till now. So we'll share your contacts with the participants so that
yes, I will give my email, mobile. They can directly contact me. I conduct a lot of sessions on the blockchain, artificial intelligence, whichever topic for their curriculum or for their student. I will be always available at
Definitely,
no charge,
sir.
nothing, as a service, free service.
So nice of you, sir. So nice of you. This sharing of knowledge and educating the younger generation is definitely commendable, sir.
My pleasure.
Yes. So I would request Shefali Pandya madam to take over. Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yes. Am I?
Yes. Yes, madam. Yes. It's a great privilege to have you, a thorough academician, introduced by our Sandeep ji, and really very proud, madam, to hear that the biodata was running into 6 pages. To compile that whole biodata and to get the best out of it was a very great thing Sandeep ji has done. And I would request you to take over the proceedings, madam.
Thank you. At the outset, I would like to thank you for inviting me here to be with you, and I'm sure it will be a mutual benefit. Is my PPT seen?
Yes, madam.
Is it
yes,
seen?
Your screen is visible. Your screen is visible.
My topic is completely different from the previous speaker when he spoke about technology and blockchain, etc. Whereas I will be talking about ethics in education. Before showing you the PPT, I would like to share about a few experiences. We have several systems in our field, in our society, like the social system, the economic system, the political system. Similarly, there is education system, and these systems interact with each other, and whatever happens in the society also happens in the system of education. They both are very closely interlinked, intertwined, and therefore education has a very strong influence on economic, social, and political systems. And in turn, they also have a strong influence on the system of education. So when you there's some instructions coming on my screen.
Hey, madam, you can carry on.
Okay. Although the political and social system outwardly tries to remove corruption and makes our other systems ethical, we all know that there is corruption, and that has also percolated down into the system of education. And therefore, this ethics in education is an extremely important topic, close to my heart and close to all of us. If you recall, in the 1980s, a movie had come. The name of the movie was Saransh, and Anupam Kher. It was his first movie, but he was playing the role of an elderly school principal, retired school principal. He had some problems in the customs. He wanted his son's ashes from the customs, and the customs people demanded some money for that. And then he gets very upset and he tells his friend in the movie that it is not the fault of these people, it is our fault as teachers. Somewhere down the line, we have gone wrong. We have not been able to imbibe appropriate values and ethics and morals in the society. And that was said very aptly. Entire society looks upon education to solve its problems, to create good human beings, and therefore education is a very important agency for developing ethical values, moral values in the people, in the society. Having said that, my today's session will speak on meanings of ethics and education, etymological root of the word ethics, types of ethics, evolution of ethics, dimensions of ethics in education, basic principles of ethics in education, role of the teacher, professional ethics, how to teach ethics, and research ethics. I have taken research ethics because if you look at the system of higher education, research is a very important component of the system of education. Besides, even at school level, what we teach has its basis on research. So teaching and research both are very important components. Therefore, I've taken some parts of research ethics in my presentation. So the first point is what is ethics, what is education, and what exactly is ethics in education. I would be speaking about this in the presentation today. When you define ethics, basically, it's a very old concept, and it's a discipline which deals with proper course of action for men. Of course, this was a very old definition, so men subsumes women. Again, it's a discipline in a study or morality, one's behavior, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, a system of obligations that we have towards others, and also known as moral philosophy. It involves systematizing, defending, and recommending what is right and what is wrong regarding our behavior. So, and it also gives us quite a few of principles of behavior as far as social interactions and community are concerned. Whereas as far as education is concerned, it is to bring about whatever activities that we do to bring about change in the behavior of the students. Acquisition of knowledge, skills, values. Values includes moral values, beliefs, habits, personal development, and so on. So it refers to the knowledge really received through institutions or instruction, and also to the institution of teaching as a whole. So this is what, in very short, in very brief, if we speak, it means changing, bringing about a positive changes, desirable changes in the learners. That is education, if I summarize the whole thing. The next point is etymological root of the word ethics. Actually, the word has come from Greek word ethos or character, and it's a systematic study of value concepts, good versus bad, right versus wrong, and the principles, general principles that justify applying these concepts of good, bad, right, and wrong. So its Greek root is ethos or character. We have several types of ethics in general, which is descriptive ethics, which talks about are the culture and the society's beliefs morally correct. For example, years back, our culture in parts of India, some parts of India, was that if a lady's husband dies, she has to die along with him on the funeral pyre, sati. That was a part of that culture. Is it morally correct? So descriptive ethics describes this, questions this, and tries to give an answer. There are many other issues also. For example, untouchability. Is it morally correct? Equality. So descriptive ethics deals with these aspects, whereas prescriptive ethics talks about our behavior and it gives us general guiding principles which should decide our behavior, good, and we can distinguish between what is right and wrong and which is good and bad. So as far as teaching is concerned, education is concerned, how do I behave as a teacher, as an educator? What character traits should I cultivate in myself first and my students? Because you as an educator has the responsibility of providing role model to the students. Therefore, the first important thing is to cultivate these right, desirable moral behavior in yourself as an educator and then in students. So we have descriptive ethics, we have prescriptive ethics, and today most of the session I will be talking about prescriptive ethics rather than descriptive ethics. So if you talk about ethics as a theoretical enterprise, there are three aspects: meta ethics, normative ethics, and applied ethics. When you talk about meta means larger, therefore it's a branch of philosophy, and it explores status, foundations, and scope of moral values, properties, and words. So this is philosophical and mostly descriptive ethics. Normative ethics provides us norms of behavior, and it has been those theorists who have given us these are Socrates onwards, Kant, Stuart, and Bentham. They seek to provide action guides and codes, code of conduct, So that's normative ethics, the norms and the code of conduct. And applied ethics are different for different fields, like business ethics. I give one example here from medical ethics. Years back, I came in touch with two dentists who were talking amongst themselves, and I overheard them. One said, when you fill up the gaps in someone's tooth, do you leave some gap there, or you fill it up completely and properly? I didn't understand this particular, and one of them was known to me. So after the other who asked the question left, I asked the other person, what did she mean by leaving some place empty, not filling it up completely? She replied, the other dentist replied to me, that if you leave it slightly empty, then the material that is filled up in the tooth will come out faster, and the patient will come back to you again. You will have money again. So this is an example of unethical practice in medical field. I won't go into details about this, but that is applied ethics. Engineers have their own, biomedical people have their own, and similarly teachers have their own ethics. And education has a lot of opportunity for unethical practices, plenty of opportunities, ranging from admissions, marks, question papers, guiding PhD students, and so on, and appointments, of course, right from top to bottom. And therefore, ethics has become an extremely important part to cleanse the system of unethical practices. Next point is evolution of ethics. It's a very old term, beginning from 384 BC, from Aristotle onwards, who proposed a theory of virtue, followed by Socrates, Gautam Buddha, our own Indian person who spoke about ethics. Kant, rightness of action is determined by the character of the principle that a person chooses to act upon. This is also about 300 years old, 400 years old. Bentham, who spoke about principles of utility, disapproves or approves of every action according to tendency to augment or diminish happiness. He spoke about that. Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and another one from Africa, Fanon. Again, almost 60 years back, he passed away. So these are very ancient people who have provided us a lot of principles, guiding principles, morals regarding ethics. And this is how the whole concept has evolved over a period of time. There are several dimensions of ethics in education. Two main important I'm mentioning here is ethical behavior of teachers, educational administrators. I would also mention here non-teaching staff, researchers, as well as students. So one's own behavior is one, and how to teach students ethical behavior is another part. Two main important parts are how to behave ethically within the field of education. The other is how to teach students to be ethical. So these are the two main important dimensions of ethics in the field of education. And here, if you talk from top onwards, educational administration onwards, all need to follow ethics. Even if at one level there are issues regarding ethics, then it percolates down the system. Basic principles of ethics. Here I will be talking about ethics in general and not necessarily ethics in the field of education. This is the larger system of overall societal ethics, and these are given by Weinstein. He gave 5 basic principles of ethics, and this is common to all religions, all societies. Do not harm anyone, try not to hurt others with your words, actions, and behavior. Make things better, help people. One should also understand whether you are helping someone or hurting someone. In the name of helping, you start asking personal questions. So you are more or less hurting the person rather than helping. Acting as a community where you stand, that also is a part of it. Respect others. speak the truth, keep promises, never break someone's trust. If you have someone's personal information, keep it to yourself, except when you have to report wrongdoings to the authorities, concerned authorities. Be fair and impartial and unbiased and objective. Control your emotions. Do not punish people unnecessarily if you are holding a power of position. And be loving, compassionate, caring to others. So these are 5 basic principles of ethics which governs our larger behavior in the society. Next, I'll be talking specifically about basic principles of ethics in education. There are 4 basic principles of ethics. Specifically, I earlier spoke in one of the slides about applied part of ethics. So now I'm dealing with the applied part of ethics with special reference to the field of education, where one needs to be honest, loyal, truthful, trustworthy, sincere, and fair. And one of the important part here is the intellectual honesty. There are people who these days, in the so much of explosion of material and knowledge on the internet that people copy and paste. Entire research article is borrowed from someone else, copy pasted rather, not borrowed, and it is published in one's own name. So this is a very clear example of breach of intellectual honesty, and UGC is calling it plagiarism. And there are a large number of teachers, researchers, including 1 or 2 examples of vice chancellors, where this particular ethical principle is lacking, unfortunately. So this is one of the important principles of ethics in education. The second is confidentiality. See, what happens is in education is you become a mentor to the student. Sometimes you also become parent surrogate. So they have personal problems and they come to you as a teacher and discuss their personal problems also. So therefore, maintaining confidentiality is extremely important. You are committed to that person who has disclosed his or her personal information to you, not to disclose or transmit that to unauthorized people. Yes, if that person requires counseling and you mention something to the counselor, that's fine. But otherwise, that confidentiality is an important principle of ethics in education. Then you have conflict of interest. Responsibility to a student is negotiated by engaging priorities. You become close to student and you know that student requires good marks and subsequently a good job very badly. So on the one hand, you have that emotion of ensuring that the student succeeds in life. On the other hand, if the student has not performed well in the examination, it's your duty to give marks as per the performance in the examination. And this becomes a very big conflict of interest. In one particular case, it was a school setup, and it was the first year of the SSC batch. The school was established about 10 years back, and it was the first SSC batch, and the principal wanted 100% results. And one of the students was extremely weak and would not perhaps pass. So the principal called one of the science teachers and said that it is your duty to ensure that this student passes the practical examination and gets very good marks, so that overall his percentages will go up, because I'm more concerned about the image of the institution. So this also becomes conflict of interest for the teacher to remain loyal to the principal and her demands, or to remain loyal to one's own profession, true to oneself. Then there is a responsibility. Here we talk about students' responsibility to take place. When students take an energetic part in their studying by acknowledging they are responsible for their academic success. And we as teachers also have a role to play here to ensure, to motivate, to energize their actions towards their academic success. So to be responsible for towards the students' success, as well as to ensure that student learns and takes responsibility for his own learning. So both are equally important here. And these are the 4 principles of ethics in education in general. I'll be speaking about that very much in detail. What is the role of the teacher in the entire thing? Educator, role of the educator. So there are 4 major aspects as far as his role is concerned. One is to take care. Teacher's practice is motivated by the best of interest for the students entrusted to their care. We need to have a positive influence, professional judgment and empathy in practice. There is a difference between empathy and sympathy, and I'm focusing on empathy rather than sympathy. Respect. Teachers uphold human dignity and promote equality, emotional and cognitive development in the student. So they demonstrate respect for spiritual, cultural, social values, equality, diversity, social justice, freedom, democracy, and the environment. Respect for self, respect for students, and respect for the environment. All are equally important here. Then integrity, I spoke earlier about intellectual honesty, and therefore I will not dwell into it much in detail here because I've already spoken about it. So your own professional commitments, responsibilities, actions, and behaviors say a lot rather than what you speak. And the 4th role is trust. Your relationship with students, colleagues, parents, school management or college management, and the larger society, the public, the government officials, is based on trust, which requires fairness, openness, and honesty. This is, in today's context, it is something that is a tall order, but I don't say it is impossible. If you are true to yourself, you may suffer a little, but you can still uphold your own dignity as a teacher. Professional ethics. This has about 6 aspects, and it's quite a lot in detail. There are 6 aspects: are professional values and relationships, professional integrity, professional conduct, practice, development, collegiality, and collaboration. We will look at each in detail, and it talks about what educators or teachers should do, and it's a long list. If you take it together, it may go around about 25 to 30 aspects. But if you want education system to even guide other systems or subsystems, this is an important aspect which is not dealt with in detail in colleges and schools. Be caring, fair, committed. Be concerned about students' interests, and it is your duty to motivate them, inspire them, celebrate effort and success of the students rather than putting them down. Each student is unique. Not all will do well in exams. Some may be very good in exams, getting marks. Some may be good in sports. Some may be good in cultural aspects like singing and music. And therefore, we need to acknowledge and respect this uniqueness. There might be some students who have special needs. Some are slow learners. Some have learning disabilities. So special needs students also need to be catered to. And it's your duty as an educator to do that and ensure that holistic development of the entire class, all the students in the class, take place. Equality and inclusion are 2 very important aspects for a teacher, and therefore we need to accommodate diversity, including those differences arising from gender, civil status, sexual orientation, religion, age, disabilities, family, socioeconomic status, race. In the Indian context, it is also the caste, and so on. We seek to develop positive relationships with students, with our own peers in the institution, parents of the students, management of the institution, and others in the institutional community that are characterized by professional integrity and judgment. The professional integrity part is of extremely important. We talk about ethics in education and work to establish and maintain a culture of mutual trust and respect in their institutions. Maybe in some private colleges this may not be the case, but if you look at the university system, this culture of mutual trust and respect is of paramount importance to instill in the entire system. Integrity, professional integrity, act with honesty, integrity, respect, I've spoken about it earlier, respect privacy of others, confidentiality of information, represent your professional status, qualifications and experience honestly in these days where degrees are sold, including PhD degrees. You see Facebook and you find posts which says that we will help you with all aspects of your PhD, including admissions, preparing a research proposal, getting it approved, collecting data, analyzing it, writing the report, and helping with the viva. How could an external agency help a student with all this in any subject, in any university in India? So that has become a very important part today as far as professional integrity is concerned. So be true to your own academic discipline with a little bit of hard work. Some years, 2-3 years back, I think it was in 2018, a newspaper report had come where a girl student, there was a con man in the universities. I won't mention the name of the university, but there was a con man, and the university's distance education institution, that con man was moving around very confidently. Perhaps he had befriended some clerical staff also over there, and he would go into the clerical staff's room, open some cupboards. So unsuspecting students thought that he was a staff member. Then he approached one girl from a minority community that you give me this much amount, a big amount. I think it was 35,000 or more, and I'll get you a first class. And because he was moving around very confidently, she also thought he's a staff member here. She agreed to pay. For the exam, he took her somewhere in a little distant place, little far away, little away from the institution. And somehow somebody found this out, and it was mentioned in the newspaper. And the topmost man of the institution got angry. He contacted the police commissioner, and the matter was taken up very seriously. And because it was a girl student, university, that institution had one women development cell. All university and colleges have women development cell these days. So that chairperson of that cell was called upon, and when she spoke to the girl student, she advised that student, instead of doing this, you could have very easily studied for at least 1 hour a day from the month of June onwards. She said, no, I didn't want to work so hard, but I wanted to make my parents happy by getting a first class. These are some of the actual examples that I'm giving where the ethics of the teacher, ethics of the institution, the clerical staff, the student, everything has gone down the drain, and the system gets negative experiences, negative image. And I don't know how to describe this because it's very disturbing. One must use one's name as set out in the register in the course of their professional duties. And this, what I meant here is, if you have a doctorate, you put. If you don't have, if you are working towards it, you need not put it. But there are people who do all kinds of things. avoid conflict between professional work and private interests, which could be reasonably deemed to impact negatively on students. This is more concerned with running tuition classes, coaching classes, or giving private tuitions, and also concerning paper setting and examination marks. So this is a very important part of professional ethics in education. Then you have conduct, your own conduct as an educator, your own reputation, your own standing. It takes 30 years to create your standing and your image. It doesn't even take 30 seconds to ruin it completely with a little bit of greed on your part. Do everything possible to take care of your students, their safety, their welfare. Each institution, each college, each university, and the larger system like UGC, AICTE have their own relevant legislations and regulations and stay within that. Comply with agreed national and institutional policies. For example, National Education Policy. UGC has its own policies. AICTE and NCT have their own policies, procedures, and guidelines. NAC has its own policies, procedures, and guidelines. So one need to follow that. If at all necessary, report incidents or matters which influence student welfare. Communicate effectively with students, colleagues, parents, management, and others in a professional, collaborative, and supportive, and based on trust and mutual respect. Then we continue with professional conduct. Any communication that you have with other stakeholders in the institution and outside. So it could be done through electronic media, email, texting, social networking sites, and ensure that you do not unknowingly access, download, or possess, knowingly or unknowingly, knowingly more, while engaged in institutional activities, inappropriate materials or images in electronic or other format. Do not unknowingly access, download, or otherwise have in possession illicit materials, images in electronic or other format, and ensure that you do not practice while under the influence of any substance. It talks about substance abuse, which impairs their fitness to teach, your fitness to teach. So that was about conduct. Now we talk about practice. High standards of practice. As far as students' learning is concerned, one needs to, very often people tell me, oh, you've got such a nice job, only 5 hours work, and you may not have lectures every day, and you have vacations, this, that, such a good job. If it is such a good job, why nobody wants to become a teacher? Because one doesn't have adequate knowledge of this. If you want to be a good teacher, often you have to sit for long hours at home preparing for your classes, preparing students' question papers, assessing students' question papers. This is to be done by teachers at all levels. Plus, at my level, sometimes I'm up till 12:30 at night checking my students' PhD thesis reports, thesis chapters. So it takes a lot of time to ensure that students learn properly, and for that we require planning, organizing, monitoring, evaluating, reporting, providing feedback. It's a tall order if you really want to do a good job. In most of the vacations which people feel that you've got a vacation job, most teachers are correcting papers. Apply their knowledge and experience in facilitating students' holistic development. Plan and communicate clearly. Tell students what you expect from them, what they need to achieve. Create an environment where students participate very actively in the process of learning. It is also ensure that students develop lifelong learning skills. It is not essential to provide them with mere notes, but make them independent. Develop teaching, learning, and assessment strategies that support differentiated learning. Today, the world has come very near to each other, all the countries due to explosion of internet and explosion of knowledge on account of that. And therefore, changes that are taking place in the field of education are vast and very fast. And therefore, professional practice says that you need to keep in tune with that. Inform your professional judgment and practice by engaging with, reflecting on student development, various new theories of learning, new pedagogies and andragogies, new trends in developing curriculum. Ethical practice, according to me, are eternal and they don't develop over a period of time. Truth and moral values are eternal values. Education policies keep on changing, legislations keep on changing, and therefore you need to keep track of these. And when you provide feedback, that needs to be constructive. You need to respond to students' problems too. And for that, if you feel, you can seek appropriate support, advice, and guidance from your seniors too. So these are professional practice. Then you have professional collegiality and collaboration. Work with teaching colleagues in the interest of sharing, developing, and supporting good practice. We have a concept called team teaching, and that would be something very nice where you share, where teachers share things, develop and support good practice, and there is a lot of collaborative efforts on the part of educators. One also needs to collaborate with students, parents, guidance, management, members of the staff, relevant professionals from various fields, including technology and the larger community, larger society, so that we meet the needs of the students as well as the larger society, the economy, the polity, and so on. If at all there is a system of inspection, then we need to cooperate with them. There might be other statutory or public non-statutory educational bodies and support services. So we need to cooperate with them. Engage with the planning, implementation, and evaluation of classroom, of curriculum at classroom level as well as institutional levels. So this comes under professional collegiality and collaboration. So far, we have dealt with how a educator should behave. But at the outset, I said there are two important parts. One important part governs our own behavior as educator. The other important part is to teach students how to be ethical in their behavior. So this part talks about that. If we follow these professional principles in our own behavior, 50% of the battle is won because we provide a role model to the students. A research study was done on school ethos, and the researcher selected some BMC schools, and she used the qualitative approach there. She went and sat in each school for 6 months, and she visited three such schools, and she spent total 1.5 years only collecting data. And somebody asked her, how do you say that school ethos influences students? She said, she described the culture of these schools. It was an ethnographic study which deals with studying the culture of the schools. And she found that teachers were often not in the class. Now, it was not completely the fault of the teachers because BMC school teachers are supposed to take part in census activities, in election duties, and so on, several other things. And therefore, they are sent on such duties where the class is empty, without the teacher. There are students, but there is no teacher. They do not have clerks in the schools, some of these schools, many of those schools, and the teacher has to do clerical duties. So their actual teaching and learning work suffers very badly. And with this, the students learn that it is okay not to be in the class, it is okay not to be teaching in the class, it is okay not to do your professional duties. Therefore, I say that if teachers are able to follow their professional conduct, professional practices properly, half the battle is won as far as instilling ethics in students is concerned. And using examples is better than lectures for teaching ethics. You can't give a sermon and a lecture on ethics to school students, to college students. Nobody will bother. If your own behavior does not match what you say, it has no meaning. Then one can also share a personal ethical dilemma with students and let them discuss it to come to a moral conclusion. One also can explore personal values so that this ethics part gets more depth and meaning. And therefore one must look at what are my personal values. How much important money is in the profession for me, vis-a-vis my job, my satisfaction, my duties towards my institution and my students. I'm not saying money is not important. Money is very important. We have to fulfill so many needs at home for yourself and for the family. I'm talking here from the perspective of unethical behavior to get more money. Smaller, less egregious felonies are better than bigger, more egregious ones for exploring the more subtle aspects of ethical thought. Controversy is good for thought. So if there is a controversial situation, one needs to explore that in the class. In-person instruction is more impactful than online courses as far as teaching of ethics is concerned. I'm not talking about other subjects, but if you want to teach ethics to students, face-to-face interaction is more effective. This is about research findings, it's not my opinion. Then there has to be space for ethics in the classroom, ethical behavior on part of both, focus on relevant situations and real life experiences. When one discusses controversial issues, one needs to highlight reasons and the impact of one's behavior on others. A situation, if you are discussing in the class, let it be complex, because then you can challenge students with their reasoning, moral reasoning. Students also need to be motivated to show courage to ask right questions. Often students don't have the courage to ask questions, and therefore asking questions is one, asking the right question is also another. So students need to develop courage for that, and that is the duty of the educator. Expose students to a variety of experiences, and you can't teach ethics in a class. I mentioned it earlier also, and it's not just about the student. You have to be first ethical in your behavior, and ethics is all pervading outside the class too. And the last part, research ethics. As I said, teaching and research both are intertwined. Now we have research, even small projects, even at undergraduate levels, and therefore this part is important. Research ethics are a code of guidelines on how to conduct scientific research in a morally acceptable way, principles and standards that help researchers to uphold the value and standards of knowledge construction. Research is aimed at creating new knowledge, and therefore I speak about standards of knowledge construction. And there are 6 norms as far as research is concerned. Your research design needs to be valid. It should keep in mind appropriate relevant theory, methods and prior findings. Researcher himself need to be very competent, capable to conduct the entire research, and the research guide also needs to follow the same. One also needs to find out the risks and benefits of conducting that particular research. In other words, identification of consequences. When you select your subjects or participants of your research, that needs to be done carefully, because when you are doing research study on human beings, ethics becomes an extremely important part. At no point in time we should do something which harms the participants of the study. more so in it need not be that much applicable in pure science subjects where one doesn't deal with human beings, but more appropriate. This is extremely important in case of social and behavioral sciences where research study subjects or participants are human beings such as medical science, nursing, education, psychology, and also management. If at all you feel that there could be a chance of injury to the students, you need to take responsibility for what happens to the student, the subject or the participant. There are laws that requires that you need to inform the subjects or participants about the compensation. Then each one needs to have informed consent. Before the study begins, you need to tell them what you are studying, why you are studying, and you cannot compel anyone to take part in your study. In fact, to take in writing from them that they are taking part in the study out of their own willingness. So therefore, ethics here comes into play at 6 stages. First, when you conceptualize and design your study, when you recruit or select participants of your study, informed consent, right to privacy, that these are important principles here. During the intervention or measurement procedure, where there could be some risk, and if that risk is there, participants should be informed in advance. Then when you get the results, names of the participants of the study should not be disclosed to anyone. Protection of confidentiality and anonymity. And after the findings of the study are released, ensure that participants and community involved in the research benefit. In most of the cases where we do research in the universities and colleges, the thesis remains in the cupboards. And next time some other researcher wants to conduct research on similar topic, the person may open, otherwise nobody looks at that. Ideally, the findings should reach the government so that they can bring about changes in the system. But that doesn't happen, and therefore that is an ethically wrong part, because you invest so much of time and energy and money in conducting research. And if it is not for the betterment of the society, that is not ethical. Last part, unethical research practices, deception, issues of full disclosure. You do not provide information about your aim of the study. You mislead participants of your study about the risk involved in the study. Plagiarism, oh, this is a very big issue in our country today. And therefore, of late, UGC has made this anti-plagiarism check to be done before submission of thesis to the university. Conducting research that does not have a scientific base, ill-informed problem statement, lack of objectivity and integrity in designing the study and conducting it, fabrication or falsification of data, not following appropriate ascription of authorship. Very often, there was a Marathi serial when I was in college. The name of the serial was Thenagi, and the student here was a lady, girl, and the guide was taking away all her work and publishing papers in his name in various journals. And one fine day she decides that now enough is enough, I'm going to take objection to this. So that was this particular serials also come from our society and our culture and our experiences. And therefore, this is about not following the appropriate ascription of authorship to a publication. The other issue here is whose name comes first. The student names comes first. All over the world, that is the practice, and guide's name comes second. Often the guide puts his name first. So this is also unethical research practice. Not respecting right to privacy, who has participated in the study. Anonymity and confidentiality, not respecting rights of vulnerable groups like children, mentally handicapped individuals, the aged, the prisoners, the illiterate, and those with low social status or low dominance, not having due consideration for the environment. As I said, peace for oneself, peace for others and peace for the environment. Thank you. And the rest of the time I have kept for questions, if any.
Madam, that was really a wonderful presentation, and in such a lucid manner, in such a simple way, the most complicated or the most desired thing which a teacher should possess was explained. Really hats off to you, madam. And it was really a great thing to know the concepts of this. Madam, as far as we are concerned, as chartered accountants and as teachers also, in chartered accountancy, ethics plays a very important role when we are conducting our audits, when we are carrying ourselves in the general society. If we do not have that ethical behavior, maybe we may not be looked upon in a very respectable manner in which we are right now looked upon. So the institute also lays a very strict strictures as far as the ethics are concerned, and we all abide by that. As far as education is concerned, I think the ethics should be self-imbibed upon the teachers. What I can construe is ethics in education helps the system to run smoothly, madam. If you do not have the ethics, then the system may go for a toss. So I think that should be imbibed from inside. The ethics should be displayed from inside rather than somebody enforcing that upon us actually. The desired standards applicable, and they protect the interest of both the learners and the tutors also, as you rightly put forward with the help of different examples. Also the topics which were very near and dear to our heart, that was ethics in research. What are the various norms which one should adopt, how one should carry oneself in that particular aspect. So really it was a great lecture. Personally, I really enjoyed this, and I'm quite sure that participants must have immense knowledge out of this whole thing. And going forward, the road to the success of all the participants can be talked out in a very ethical manner. That is what we can construe from here. As far as the blockchain was concerned, I think really though the topic happened to be a very technical topic, but yet it was explained in a very lucid manner uh, by our own Milind Kamat, and there were a lot of takeaways from that particular topic which was there. And the most important thing was the attitude to give more and more to the participants. With such a learned person, he categorically mentioned that I am available to dispense this knowledge. Whosoever needs this knowledge can call me, and without any without any commitment, he would definitely ensure that makes it a point to make those points very clear. I think we are very much grateful to both the speakers. There would be a formal vote of thanks, madam, but I thought that as an MOC, I felt it most appropriate to appreciate the efforts which were taken by both the speakers. And I think all our participants will also carry the same emotions which I carried forward in this whole thing. Wonderful session, madam. Wonderful session by you. Wonderful session by Milind Kamarji. I would request CA Kishore Peshori ji, the principal of MMK College, to express the formal vote of thanks. Kishore ji.
Yeah, I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
Thank you, CA Yogesh Prasad. It gives me great and immense pleasure to thank the learned faculty, Shri Milind Kamat, who took out the precious time to speak on a very novel topic, blockchain technology. I think within not years, but within months, this will be there in Mumbai University and all neighboring universities, so they can help their students' life much more simple. Dr. Shefali Pandya, who spoke on ethics, I think it's a very thoughtful session, and I would acknowledge that she spoke on the most important theme for the year. Since last 2 years, education has been in, I would say, slumber. So it was a need of the hour that she spoke on a very well-known topic. I would also like to thank WIRC for taking this initiative, and also thank Yogesh Prasade, who is representing Joshi Bedekar College, for being present throughout the session and conducting in a wonderful way what he conducts, a symphony of the two great speakers. And thanks WRC for imparting knowledge and you lovely audience who have made this session really wonderful. Without you, this program would have never been a success.
Yes.
So all acknowledgement
Yes,
to
sir.
you all for attending the 2 hours session, and we expect more cooperation in the near future also. Thank you once again. And thank you, Dr. Luhar, sir,
Yes.
for being a guiding force in this occasion. So thanks everybody on behalf of WRC, especially to all the members present. Thank you.
Sir, I would like to add one more name over here, Kapoor Madam, who has coordinated this entire FDP. She has taken a lot of efforts. So on behalf of all of us, I would also like to thank Kapoor Madam for this particular endeavor. Thank you very much.
Kapoor Madam is the initiator of this whole FDP programs. All the 5 FDPs she has initiated very nicely, and let us acknowledge with applause for Kapoor Madam for this wonderful initiative which is taken on behalf of WRC. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So with this, I think we would declare that the program is concluded. Thank you all the participants for being a part of this wonderful FDP, and you must have taken a lot of inputs which you would like to ponder upon. Thank you very much. With this, we declare that the program is over.
Good.
ऐसा तो होने वाला है नहीं, फिर भी वो टाइम टेबल आपके पास आएगा, तो मैं आपको